The story starts with a high school boy named Cyan. He was the top student in his class and liked to stay alone. Every day, he spent almost all his time studying at school. He did not have any friends, and many classmates disliked him because he was much smarter than them. Since he stayed quiet and kept to himself, nobody really respected him, even though he always got great results. At the same time, another student named Young Ben was very popular in class. During a math competition award ceremony, Cyan won first place, but nobody clapped for him. However, when Young Ben received an award for third place, the whole class cheered loudly for him. Young Ben was known as a troublemaker, but he was also calm and clever. Most students were scared of him because he bullied people with the help of his gang. They threatened weaker students and even forced them to give money. Later, while Cyan was quietly studying, Young Ben walked over and tried to intimidate him. He was angry because Cyan had beaten him in the math contest. Even though Cyan had no friends and rarely talked to anyone, he was not scared at all. Young Ben threatened him, but Cyan did not react even once. At that moment, the school basketball team suddenly entered the classroom looking for a student named Suho. They wanted revenge because Suho had beaten one of their teammates before. The entire team attacked him together using metal rods, but Suho still defeated all of them by himself. He was able to fight so well because he used to be an MMA fighter. When Cyan returned home, he showed his father the certificate he had won from the competition. His father looked very happy, but Cyan himself felt empty inside. Even while staying with family, he still felt completely alone. Cyan lived with his father because his parents were divorced, and he had decided to stay with him. Still, he never really received care or affection from either parent. His father stayed busy with work all the time, while his mother worked as a teacher at a school far away. Cyan hardly ever saw her and could only watch videos of her every day. Because of these family problems, Cyan slowly became quiet, cold, and distant from others. The next morning, Cyan arrived at school early like always. Inside the classroom, he noticed Suho sleeping peacefully at his desk. That day, the students had physical education class. But before class started, Cyan realized his gym jacket had disappeared. He believed Young Ben had taken it, so he had no choice but to join the class while wearing his school uniform. Cyan was excellent in every subject except physical education. Sports were the only thing he struggled with. After the class ended, Cyan walked up to Young Ben and his gang. He told them that if Young Ben was truly strong, then he should stop bothering weaker people. Young Ben and his friends became furious after hearing that. They grabbed Cyan by the collar and started threatening him. But before things got worse, a teacher suddenly arrived and separated them. Right away, Young Ben and his gang acted like they were only joking around. Soon after, a new student named Bamak joined their class. He had recently transferred from a rich private school nearby. Even though his family was wealthy, Bamak never admitted it because he did not want people to use him for money. Later, Cyan entered the classroom and calmly told Young Ben to move away from his desk. Young Ben became angry immediately. Cyan quickly held a pen in his hand, ready to protect himself if Young Ben attacked him. Just then, Suho suddenly spoke up and told Young Ben and his gang to stay quiet. They had disturbed his sleep, which made him angry as well. That night, Young Ben and his gang gathered at a club like they always did. They drank alcohol mixed with drugs almost every day. There, Young Ben met his cousin, who worked as a drug dealer. He asked him what would happen if fentanyl touched human skin. The dealer explained that it could cause confusion, dizziness, blurry eyesight, nausea, and vomiting. The following day, the students had another exam. As usual, Cyan had prepared very carefully for it. Young Ben arrived late to the classroom and walked over to Bamak. He told Bamak to come with him because his private tutor wanted to meet him. After that, Bamak was taken into a small storage room inside the school. Young Ben then told Bamak to secretly put fentanyl on Cyan's neck during the exam. Bamak was terrified of Young Ben, so he agreed without arguing. As the teacher handed out the test papers, Bamak stood behind Cyan and touched his neck. He pretended there was a bug crawling on him. At first, Cyan looked annoyed, but after the teacher called his name, he quickly focused back on the exam. A few moments later, while solving the questions, Cyan's eyesight suddenly became blurry. He could no longer think clearly and struggled to stay focused. He quickly left the classroom and went to the restroom. When he came back, he realized someone had placed fentanyl on his neck. Without warning, Cyan suddenly slapped himself hard across the face. The entire class became shocked and stared at him in silence. But Cyan kept hitting himself again and again, trying to stay awake and regain focus so he could finish the test. After the exam ended, the students started checking their answers together. That was when Cyan discovered he had answered one question incorrectly. The mistake made him completely furious. In sudden rage, he stood up, grabbed a pen, and violently attacked young Ben. He even stabbed young Ben's closest friend with the pen. Cyan hits young Ben with punch after punch, without giving him a second to breathe. Just as Cyan was about to strike young Ben in the face again, Suho suddenly stepped in and threw him away. But Cyan was still blinded by anger. He grabbed a chair and tried to continue the fight. Suho quickly blocked the attack before anyone else got hurt. At that moment, a teacher rushed into the classroom. After the incident, young Ben was taken to the hospital for treatment. Meanwhile, a teacher brought Cyan to apologize to young Ben's parents. But young Ben's mother angrily blamed Cyan and kept yelling at him. Cyan then revealed that young Ben had secretly used fentanyl on him during the exam. At first, young Ben denied everything. But Cyan showed proof and explained that young Ben had hidden the drugs inside his bag. When the fentanyl box was found in young Ben's belongings, his mother became horrified. In the end, the school decided to transfer young Ben to another school. The staff also promised to watch students more carefully and stop drug use from spreading inside the school. That evening, when Cyan returned home, he said nothing about what had happened. His father noticed signs that Cyan had been in a fight, but he barely cared and treated it like normal teenage behavior. The next day, two of young Ben's friends walked up to Cyan with angry expressions. They demanded that he meet them after school. Cyan showed no fear at all and calmly told them to choose the time. They were so angry that they could barely wait for classes to end. After school, young Ben's friends followed Cyan into the restroom. Cyan locked the door behind them so nobody outside could see what was happening. What they did not know was that Cyan had brought his favorite weapon with him, a pen. As Cyan slowly walked toward them, both boys became frozen with fear. They remembered the terrifying moment when Cyan lost control during the exam incident. Just thinking about it made their bodies shake. But Cyan had no plan to attack them. He only warned them to stay out of his business. After Cyan walked out of the restroom, many classmates suddenly started praising him for defeating young Ben and his gang. But instead of feeling happy, Cyan became angry. Now everyone suddenly wanted to become his friend. Still, the same classmates quickly ignored him again not long after, acting as if he did not even exist. Later, young Ben received a visit from his cousin named Subday. Subday warned him not to do anything stupid. But young Ben asked him to beat up Cyan and even offered him money for the job. That night, while walking home, Cyan noticed Suho working during his school break. Besides being a student, he went straight to work to earn money. After losing his parents, he had been living with his grandmother. That night, instead of returning home after work, Suho decided to sleep inside the school. He knew that going home late would make him arrive late again the next morning. When Cyan learned about Suho's situation, he quietly decided not to wake him up. For the first time, Cyan truly admired someone's hard work and determination. That night, he also slept peacefully before the other students arrived at school. From then on, Cyan and Suho slowly became closer. Meanwhile, young Ben met Subday again to talk about the task he had requested earlier. Subday worked for a debt collection group that loaned money and kept people's valuables as payment. Because of that, he refused to handle young Ben's request. After school, Bamak tried to apologize to Cyan for everything he had done. He even offered to transfer schools together with him. But Cyan ignored him completely. Suddenly, young Ben and Subday's gang appeared and forcefully dragged Cyan away. After seeing this happen, Bamak quickly informed Suho. At first, Suho did not care because he believed it was none of his business. He was even preparing to leave for work. But when Bamak offered to pay him double his normal salary, Suho immediately changed his mind and rushed out to find Cyan. Meanwhile, Cyan was taken to a lonely area where Subday and his gang surrounded him. Even though he felt threatened, Cyan stayed calm. Since he always carefully studied every situation before acting, he managed to fight back against them. Even after Cyan managed to take down some of the attackers, more people suddenly jumped him again. This time, young Ben used the chance to get revenge. He brutally beat Cyan and even tried to break his arms so he would never return to school again. Right then, Suho arrived and stepped in to save Cyan. Using his fighting skills, Suho quickly overpowered young Ben and the others. But the fight still was not over. Subday then challenged Suho to fight his men one by one. At the same time, young Ben and his friends noticed Cyan was alone again and rushed toward him. Things became even more dangerous when young Ben picked up a glass bottle and tried to smash it on Cyan. Suho could not help because he was still busy fighting Subday. Luckily, Bamak appeared just in time and protected Cyan. In the end, Subday decided to back away and leave the area. Instead, he planned to go after Ian and the rest of his associates later. Young Ben was left standing there alone, realizing he had failed once again. After that incident, Cyan and the others slowly became much closer. Later, Suho took Bamak and Cyan to the restaurant where he worked part-time. He told them they had to help him because he had arrived late to work because of them. That evening, the three spent time together at the restaurant and even ate dinner there. Still, Cyan continued struggling to talk comfortably with other people. Meanwhile, Subday's boss, a man named Jilisu, became furious after hearing what had happened. Because of the failed job, Jilisu refused to give Subday any more work. He even punished him by beating him with a wooden stick. Later on, Subday met young Ben again and asked him to bring Cyan to him. Around the same time, Cyan ran into a girl from Subday's gang named Yangi. She was secretly stealing items from a supermarket. Cyan noticed what she was doing, but acted like he saw nothing. After leaving the store with the umbrella he had bought, Cyan was suddenly approached by Yangi. She quickly started talking to him in a friendly way. Soon after, she asked Cyan to go with her to a restaurant. Since he did not know how to refuse, Cyan agreed. While they were together, Yangi tried getting closer to him. She told Cyan that she had started liking him a lot. She even asked for his phone number. Meanwhile, Jilisu was busy collecting debts from high school students who had recently gotten money. Jilisu threatened to kill both the student and his parents if the full amount was not returned within 3 days. The next morning, young Ben came to the classroom to collect his belongings. Before leaving, he asked Cyan if they could talk privately. Young Ben then explained that he wanted Cyan to testify in court for him. He wanted Cyan to say that he was not responsible for the fentanyl incident. Young Ben was desperate to avoid being sent to a juvenile detention center. He also told Cyan that his parents depended on him financially. After hearing this, Cyan started feeling guilty about everything that had happened. Because of that, he agreed to help young Ben. Soon after, Cyan left together with his friends to go to court. But instead of taking them there, young Ben led them into an underground parking garage. He had actually trapped them and brought them straight to Jilisu and his gang. Jilisu then demanded $15,000 from them. He claimed the money was needed to pay for Subday's medical treatment after his arm had been broken. But Suho refused to accept the blame. He knew Jilisu himself had broken Subday's arm and was now falsely accusing him. In reality, Jilisu only wanted an excuse to extort money from Suho and his friends. He gave them 3 days to collect the money. He also warned them that if they failed, he would lend them the money himself and trap them in endless debt. From that moment forward, Jilisu and his gang started following Shaun and his friends everywhere they went. They were completely trapped under his control. Trying to find a solution, Cyan later called Yangi and asked for information about the dangerous situation he had gotten involved in. He hoped she could tell him something useful. Eventually, they agreed to meet at a nearby restaurant. During their conversation, Yangi finally revealed the truth about Jilisu. She explained that he would do absolutely anything for money, even murder someone if the price was high enough. Yangi warned Cyan that the safest choice was to pay whatever Jilisu demanded. She also explained that Jilisu had strong ties with many criminals, making it almost impossible to escape from him. Meanwhile, Bamak desperately searched for a way to gather money. In the end, he secretly stole his father's expensive watch and planned to sell it to help pay the debt forced on them by Jilisu. At last, the 3-day deadline given by Gil-Su finally arrived. The group gathered inside a hidden room. Bamak successfully brought the full $15,000 after secretly selling his father's expensive watch. However, he lied to Cyan and Suho, claiming that his father had willingly given him the money. Both Cyan and Suho became angry because they could not believe any father would casually hand over such a huge amount to cover his son's debt. Even after collecting all the money, they still refused to hand it over to Gil-Su so easily. Instead, they decided to contact the police. Cyan then shared the important information Young E had told him the night before. According to her, Gil-Su was secretly operating an illegal gambling business that targeted underage students. Anyone who joined the gambling website received $50 as a starting bonus. This trick encouraged students to keep gambling for longer periods. Young E explained that the entire system was designed as a scam. At first, players won often and received large rewards. But once they became addicted, the people running the site slowly changed the system so the players would continue losing money. The bonus money given to new users actually went directly into Gil-Su's pockets. When the students finally ran out of money, Gil-soo's gang would approach them and offer loans so they could continue gambling. This created a dangerous cycle that trapped every student in massive debt. Soon, the students were forced to hand over everything valuable they owned. This was how Gil-soo destroyed the lives of high school students and made money from their suffering. Young-yi also revealed that Gil-soo kept all his valuables and drugs inside a locked metal box. After hearing this, Cyan decided to lead the police directly to the location, because all the evidence was stored inside the box. After school that same day, Gil-soo and his gang waited outside for Cyan and his friends. Soo-ho told the others that he would meet Gil-soo alone. His plan was simple. He would convince Gil-soo to take him to his office so they could talk about the gambling business. Then Cyan would secretly contact the police and reveal the location. At first, Gil-soo was shocked that Soo-ho knew about the gambling operation. Soo-ho then claimed that he had learned everything from Subday. Having no other option, Gil-soo took Soo-ho to his office. Before leaving, Young-yi told Gil-soo that she would stay at school and wait for Bamak and Cyan. Later, Young-yi met Cyan and gave him the address of Gil-soo's office. She did not know that Soo-ho had already followed Gil-soo there to get the same information himself. Meanwhile, Bamak became deeply worried about Soo-ho and secretly followed him in a taxi. Cyan allowed Bamak to go first because he wanted to confirm whether Young-yi had given him the correct address. At the same time, Subday questioned Young-yi to learn more about Cyan and the situation around him. Young-yi admitted that she was tired of living under Gil-soo's control. She confessed that she had already planned to report him to the police. She said she could no longer survive under his constant pressure. Meanwhile, Soo-ho reached Gil-soo's office and quickly sent the address to Cyan. It turned out to be the exact same location Young-yi had already given him. Once Soo-ho entered the office, Gil-soo immediately demanded his phone because he had never fully trusted him. When Soo-ho refused to hand it over, someone suddenly struck him in the head with a heavy metal object. The attack knocked him to the floor. Gil-soo soon realized that Soo-ho planned to call the police. Panicking, he quickly gathered all the valuables and escaped from the office. A short time later, Bamak arrived and saw Gil-soo trying to flee. Not knowing what had happened, Bamak still attempted to give him the money he had collected. But Gil-soo ignored the cash and dragged Bamak away with him. Meanwhile, Cyan rushed toward Gil-soo's office together with the police. But when they arrived, the office was already empty. Since the officers did not have an official arrest warrant, they stopped searching the area. Frustrated, Cyan climbed over the building wall and forced his way into the office himself. Inside, he discovered blood on the floor. Seeing it terrified him because he feared it belonged to Soo-ho. He quickly tried calling Soo-ho's phone, but nobody answered. Cyan became even more distressed after noticing that Gil-soo had taken everything from the metal box, including the drugs and the money. Meanwhile, Subday suddenly found himself in danger. Gil-soo had discovered that both Subday and Young-yi had secretly betrayed him and helped Cyan. He warned that if they did not meet him at a place called Mandong, he would sell her younger brother, Sunshine. After hearing this, Subday immediately decided to meet Gil-soo himself. Before leaving, he handed Young-yi his bank card and told her to hide inside a hotel. But Young-yi refused to let him go alone. She asked Cyan to install an app that allowed people to track each other's live locations. That way, Cyan could secretly follow Subday through Young-yi's location. Meanwhile, Gil-soo and his gang waited at the meeting place. It was then revealed that they had also captured Bamak and Soo-ho and were keeping them hostage. When Subday comes, Gil-soo challenged Subday to fight. Because Subday's arm was still injured, he struggled badly during the fight. Gil-soo attacked him over and over without stopping. Young-yi tried helping Subday, but Gil-soo's men quickly grabbed her and held her down. Gil-soo then prepared to kill both Soo-ho and Bamak. At the last second, Subday forced himself back up and attacked again. Even while exhausted and injured, he continued fighting with everything he had. But Gil-soo still held the advantage because he was armed with a knife. Suddenly, Young-yi hit Gil-soo in the head to help Subday. Still, she was not strong enough to stop him after he stood back up again. Luckily, the sound of police sirens suddenly echoed through the area. Hearing the sirens, Gil-soo and his gang immediately tried escaping. Just then, Cyan finally arrived and told Gil-soo to surrender because the police had surrounded the place. However, Gil-soo quickly realized the truth. Cyan had only played fake police siren sounds from his phone to scare them. No real police officers had arrived yet. After discovering the trick, Gil-soo's gang immediately attacked Cyan and the others. A violent fight broke out between both sides. Meanwhile, Subday and Young-yi attempted to escape during the chaos. But suddenly, real police officers arrived at the scene. Only then did everyone realize that Cyan's fake sirens had simply delayed them long enough for the actual police to arrive. One officer started arresting Gil-soo's gang while another chased after Subdae and Young E. Unfortunately, Gil-soo still managed to escape from the police in the end. Cyan immediately chased after Gil-soo through the streets. After running for a while, he finally caught up to him. But once the fight started, it became obvious that Cyan could not match Gil-soo's strength. No matter how hard he tried, Cyan was still only a high school student. Just then, Soo-ho suddenly arrived and rescued him. Another brutal fight immediately broke out between Soo-ho and Gil-soo. Because Soo-ho had experience as an MMA fighter, he easily gained the upper hand. In the end, Soo-ho successfully defeated Gil-soo. After that, the police finally arrested him, the man responsible for dragging many students into gambling and crime. Meanwhile, Subdae willingly surrendered himself to the police. Before being taken away, he told Young E and her younger brother Sunshine to leave the area and stay safe. Later, Gil-soo's case was handed over to a lawyer. The lawyer turned out to be an assistant working under Bamak's father. He explained that he would not speak with Cyan's parents about the situation. Instead, he planned to report everything directly to Bamak's father. Since Bamak belonged to a rich and respected family, anyone who harmed him would face serious punishment. The lawyer then told Bamak that he was allowed to hit Gil-soo if he wanted. He even said Bamak should not worry about being inside a police station. But Bamak had no desire to attack Gil-soo. Gil-soo mocked him instead and called him the weakest member of the group. He also claimed that Soo-ho and Cyan never truly considered Bamak their real friend. Meanwhile, Cyan stepped outside the police station and saw Young E waiting there. She wanted to apologize to both him and Soo-ho. Later, they visited the hospital together to see Soo-ho. Cyan told Soo-ho that Bamak's father wanted to keep the entire case private. It seemed Bamak's father wanted complete control over everything. Still, Cyan and his friends did not care about receiving praise for capturing Gil-soo. The only thing that mattered to Cyan was that Gil-soo and his gang were finally behind bars. At the same time, Bamak's father paid all of Soo-ho's hospital bills. It was then revealed that Bamak's father was a powerful politician named Jean W. Young E still felt guilty, so she followed Cyan to the hospital and continued apologizing to Soo-ho. Then she suddenly rested her head on Cyan's shoulder. At that moment, she jokingly told him that they were now dating. Later, when Cyan returned home, he once again felt completely alone. Nobody asked him where he had been or if he was okay. Feeling isolated again, Cyan decided to return to the hospital with Soo-ho's favorite food. Soo-ho looked surprised because it was the first time he had seen Cyan openly caring for someone else. Meanwhile, back at Bamak's house, his father angrily scolded him for getting involved with the police. He feared the situation would ruin his public image and reputation. As punishment, Bamak's father violently beat him using a golf club. The next day at school, Cyan and his classmates were praised for helping bring down Gil-soo and his gang. From then on, Cyan and his friends became even closer than before. They promised that they would never leave each other behind. Bamak later explained that Young E wanted to become part of their group and would even stay at Soo-ho's house. Because of this, Soo-ho personally asked Young E if she truly wanted to live with them. However, Bamak slowly began feeling uncomfortable around her. He felt like he was being pushed out of the group. His jealousy became even stronger after noticing that Soo-ho followed Young E on Instagram but still had not followed him back. Even though Soo-ho had only known Young E for one night, he still chose to connect with her first. After Young E joined them, Soo-ho spent more time talking to her than to Bamak. Bamak started feeling invisible, as if nobody cared about him anymore. Because of these feelings, he no longer enjoyed being around the group. Even when they visited a karaoke room together, Bamak still looked unhappy. At one point, he left alone to buy drinks for himself while trying to calm his emotions. That same night, he also ran into several boys from his previous school who used to fight with him. Still, he kept the situation secret and avoided causing more trouble. Later, when Bamak returned to the karaoke room, he became angry after seeing Young E answer his phone during a call. Bamak hated being treated like that. At the same time, he also felt hurt because even Soo-ho seemed more distant toward him now. Suddenly, a group of bully students entered the karaoke room. After seeing Cyan quietly sitting there, they decided to leave. Before going, they told Bamak they would contact him again later. Cyan had no idea those students were troublemakers because Bamak never told him anything about them. The next day, Bamak fell asleep during class. He woke up after hearing his classmates making noise around him. Annoyed, he told them to stay quiet. But instead of listening, they laughed at him. Bamak immediately felt humiliated and angrily confronted them. His anger grew even more after hearing them say he had become arrogant since joining Cyan and Suho's group. Cyan and Suho tried calming him down, but Bamak suddenly pushed Suho away and told him not to touch him. After that moment, Bamak's mental condition slowly became worse. At the same time, the bully students from his old school kept calling him every single day. Their constant pressure made him even more anxious. Eventually, Bamak stopped attending school for several days. He also refused to tell anyone what he was going through. Worried about him, Cyan and Suho decided to visit Bamak's house. When they arrived, they were shocked by how luxurious and expensive the home looked. That was when they finally realized the rumors about Bamak's wealthy family were true. Bamak then confessed something important to them. He revealed that he was not the biological son of his parents. Instead, he had been adopted after his father became a politician. He also explained why he had stopped coming to school. After meeting the bullies from his previous school again, they started calling him non-stop and demanding that he meet them immediately. The pressure completely exhausted him emotionally. It also brought back painful memories from the past when those same students physically abused him every single day. The bullying Bamak suffered was one of the biggest reasons he transferred to a new school. After hearing his story, Suho suggested that Bamak call those bullies so they could face them directly and force them to apologize. Later, Cyan, Suho, and Bamak went to a bar to meet the students who had ruined Bamak's life. Trying to gather courage, Bamak walked into their room and demanded an apology. But the bullies only laughed after hearing him. They acted innocent and claimed they had never done anything wrong to him. They even pretended that they used to be close friends with Bamak. However, after Suho threatened them, the group finally admitted what they had done. They apologized and acted like they truly regretted their actions. Then suddenly, Bamak slapped one of them across the face. The bullies instantly became angry. Bamak then grabbed a microphone and tried attacking them again after losing control of his emotions. Seeing this happen, Suho quickly stepped in and stopped him. He reminded Bamak that they came there for an apology, not revenge. The bully group looked shocked after seeing Bamak suddenly explode with anger. Cyan then warned them to stop calling Bamak from that day forward. After leaving the bar, Bamak and Suho started arguing intensely. Bamak was angry because Suho had stopped him from taking revenge on his former bullies. He accused Suho of always acting superior and treating him like someone beneath him. Bamak also claimed that Suho never truly saw him as an equal friend. Suho denied everything and reminded Bamak about all the times he had helped him. But Suho became furious after Bamak said he could simply repay him for everything later. Cyan quickly stepped in and calmed the situation before it became worse. After that, Bamak decided to leave alone and head home by himself. Even though Bamak fought with Suho, he had never once shown anger toward Cyan. He had always respected him deeply. However, the bully group continued calling Bamak non-stop while trying to find him. While walking home, Bamak ran into Youngchan and Taeyeon. At the same moment, the bullies spotted Bamak from above. Luckily, Youngchan's group targeted the bullies instead of Bamak. Because they attended an elite school, they saw the bullies as easy people to take advantage of. The bully group became terrified of Youngchan's gang and quickly handed over their money. Bamak quietly watched everything happen. Then without warning, he suddenly attacked the leader of the bully group before running away. Youngchan and Taeyeon found the situation entertaining because Bamak had finally snapped. Bamak released all the anger he had been holding inside against the students who destroyed his life. He hated them for making him suffer, insulting his father, and separating him from his friends. After that incident, Bamak started hanging out with Youngchan's gang. Soon, he spent almost every night drinking with them at clubs. His new group treated him warmly, especially because he paid for everything they wanted. For the first time in a long while, Bamak felt accepted and respected. He even followed every member of the group on Instagram. Bamak truly believed he had finally found real friends. Because of this, he decided to unfollow Suho on Instagram. The following day, Bamak arrived late to school after spending the entire night drinking. Cyan tried talking to him, but Bamak ignored him completely. Instead, he chose to spend time with Youngchan's gang. The group thanked Bamak for paying for their alcohol, hotel rooms, and the girls they spent time with. It became clear that Bamak still had money left from selling his father's expensive watch. Cyan noticed how much Bamak had changed and confronted him about it. At first, Bamak pretended everything was fine. But eventually, he admitted that he was angry with Suho. He felt that Suho always looked down on him and never treated him like a true friend. After that, Bamak completely immersed himself in his new lifestyle. He regularly went clubbing with Young Chan's gang. One night, they met Young Ben and several other students from their school. Young Ben was excited to see Bamak there. He introduced Bamak to several girls and proudly told them that Bamak was the son of a powerful politician. As soon as the girls heard that, they immediately started flirting with him. Young Ben also introduced Bamak to a strong fighter from their school named Weong. Soon, the conversation shifted towards Suho. Everyone there openly talked about how much they disliked him. They complained that Suho always acted better than everyone else and constantly looked down on people. Young Ben especially wanted revenge against Suho. Meanwhile, Suho continued helping Cyan learn how to work as a delivery driver. At the same time, Cyan became more worried about Bamak. He believed Young Chan's gang only stayed close to Bamak because they discovered he came from a wealthy family. Cyan felt sure they were only using him for money. However, Suho viewed the situation differently. He believed Bamak was also using the group for his own benefit. It seemed both sides were getting something from the friendship. The gang obeyed Bamak's requests and even wanted to make him popular at school. As time passed, Bamak became even closer to Young Chan's group. For the first time, he truly felt respected by people around him. He even changed seats in class so he could sit near Young Chan and Tahan. Still, Cyan remained deeply concerned about him. He believed Bamak was not naturally a bad person. In Cyan's eyes, Bamak was only acting this way because he felt lonely inside. Eventually, Cyan confronted Young Chan's group himself. He demanded that they stop taking Bamak's money and stay away from him. But the gang ignored Cyan and claimed Bamak willingly paid for everything himself. Later during lunch break, students lined up to get their food. Suddenly, Young Chan's group pushed past everyone and cut to the front of the line. Suho became furious and warned them to stand in line properly. But Bamak stepped in and openly refused to listen to Suho. This made Suho even angrier. Without holding back, Suho forcefully slammed Bamak onto the ground. Cyan quickly interfered and told Suho to stop before things got worse. Feeling humiliated and powerless, Bamak angrily walked away. Afterward, he approached Young Chan and asked him to find someone he could pay to beat up Suho. Young Chan then suggested bringing in another student named Wong, who was also a close friend of Young Ben. The group searched for videos of Wong online and quickly realized he was an incredibly skilled fighter. Some people even believed he would soon enter the UFC. Not long after, Bamak finally met Wong in person. Bamak offered him $1,000 if he could badly beat up Suho. He even wanted the fight to happen on Saturday, which was also Suho's birthday. Wong accepted the offer without hesitation and walked away. Taihan then told everyone that Wong had once defeated Suho during a fighting competition before. Because of that, Young Chan strongly believed Wong would defeat him again. Afterward, they created another plan to weaken Suho before the fight. As part of the setup, they secretly damaged the brakes on Suho's motorcycle, the same bike he used for delivery work. Everything went exactly as they planned. While riding, Suho suddenly lost control of the motorcycle and got into an accident. After the crash, his leg became injured and he struggled to walk properly. Suho suspected Bamak was responsible for it, but he stayed silent and told Cyan nothing. Soon, Saturday finally arrived. It was also Suho's birthday. Cyan and Young E had already prepared a surprise celebration for him. Meanwhile, Bamak kept trying to call Suho and asked him to meet up, but Suho ignored every call. After that, Bamak started messaging Young E instead. He told her he wanted to give Suho a birthday present and asked her to meet him secretly. He also told her not to tell anyone because he wanted it to stay a surprise. Without informing Cyan or Suho, Young E went alone to meet Bamak. At first, Bamak acted friendly toward her, but suddenly, he smirked. His real plan had finally worked. He intended to use Young E as a hostage so he could force Suho to come meet him. Meanwhile, Cyan and Suho waited for Young E, but she still had not returned. While waiting, Cyan accidentally looked at Suho's phone and noticed Bamak's messages. In the texts, Bamak had sent an address and clearly stated that Young E was being held hostage. The moment Cyan realized she was in danger, he quickly replied that he would come. Then he secretly deleted the messages. Afterward, Cyan told Suho he needed to go somewhere, but he never explained the real situation. Cyan arrived alone at Bamak's location while holding a wrench in his hand. Everyone there looked shocked because they expected Suho instead. The moment Cyan saw Young E, he immediately told her to run away. Right after that, Cyan attacked Young Chan and the others using the wrench. Meanwhile, Young E successfully managed to contact the police. Young Ben became excited after seeing Cyan because he still wanted revenge against him. But once again, young Ben failed to defeat him. Cyan then grabbed a crowbar and prepared to fight everyone there by himself. Suddenly, Wong appeared and attacked him. Even with the crowbar, Cyan could not defend himself against Wong's strength. Seeing the chance, young Ben tried attacking Cyan as well. However, Bamak stepped in and stopped him. He explained that Cyan had nothing to do with the conflict between him and Su-ho. Bamak insisted that he did not hate Cyan at all. But young Ben did not care. He said his hatred toward Cyan was personal and had nothing to do with Su-ho anymore. Eventually, Cyan, who was already exhausted and injured, was brutally beaten by young Ben and the others. Bamak could not bear watching it any longer and walked away from the scene. Afterward, Wong told Bamak to arrange another meeting with Su-ho. He also demanded his payment, saying he had already defeated one person. But Bamak never asked him to attack Cyan in the first place. Suddenly, police sirens echoed nearby. Hearing the sound, everyone immediately ran away except Cyan, who remained lying injured on the ground. Meanwhile, Su-ho had accidentally fallen asleep at home. When he woke up, he realized none of his friends had returned to celebrate his birthday. At the same time, the police placed Cyan inside an ambulance. Young E told the officers everything that had happened. But after waking up, Cyan lied to the police. He claimed he had been alone and that the whole thing was simply an accident. He also begged Young E not to tell Su-ho anything. Later, Cyan called Bamak and warned him to stop everything he was doing. Because of the injuries from the attack, Cyan had to stay in the hospital. While resting there, he remembered a painful moment from his childhood. He overheard his parents arguing and learned that his father never wanted him. That memory caused Cyan to resent his father ever since. Even though they still lived together, those feelings never disappeared. When Cyan returned home, he hid the truth about the incident. Instead, he told his father he had fallen down the stairs. However, his father immediately realized he had been fighting again and scolded him for acting recklessly. Cyan then angrily asked his father since when he had ever cared about him. Meanwhile, Bamak felt furious with himself. Because of his actions, Cyan had suffered a terrible beating from young Ben's group. Bamak locked himself inside his room and completely stopped going to school. His father wanted to keep him away from more trouble, so he assigned someone to watch him. He also planned to transfer Bamak to a school in the Philippines. Meanwhile, Su-ho continued attending school normally, still unaware of everything that had happened. Even so, he felt that something was wrong. Cyan had disappeared from school, and Bamak was also missing. Su-ho repeatedly tried calling Cyan, but Cyan ignored the calls. When Cyan finally answered, he claimed he was absent because of family problems. Later, Su-ho asked Young E why Cyan never returned to the birthday party, but she avoided explaining and only apologized. Still feeling suspicious, Su-ho decided to visit Cyan's house. However, nobody was there. As he walked home, he kept wondering what everyone was hiding from him. Eventually, Su-ho had no choice but to question Young-chan and Tai-han about Bamak's location. They claimed they did not know because Bamak had stopped contacting them too. Su-ho then mentioned that Bamak still owed him money for repairing the motorcycle that had been damaged because of him. Young-chan's group became shocked after hearing this. They asked Su-ho how he figured out Bamak was behind the motorcycle accident. At the same time, Young-chan's gang discussed Cyan's absence from school because of the beating that happened that night. Su-ho overheard everything. Filled with rage, Su-ho attacked them and demanded to know the truth about what happened to Cyan. Unable to endure the pain anymore, Young-chan finally confessed everything. After learning the truth, Su-ho went directly to Young E and asked where Cyan was hospitalized. She informed him that Cyan would return home that same night. Su-ho then visited Cyan's house. He felt relieved after finally seeing him safe. Still, Su-ho pretended not to know the truth. Cyan secretly hid his injured hand, and Su-ho acted like he noticed nothing. Instead, he calmly reminded Cyan that they had an exam the next day and told him to come to school. Meanwhile, Bamak's father remained furious over everything his son had done. Bamak's father felt ashamed of him. Because of that, he ordered Bamak to never publicly call him his father again. After hearing those cruel words, Bamak finally decided to leave home that same night. His father's assistant tried stopping him, but Bamak ignored him and got into a taxi. The assistant quickly took a photo of the taxi's license plate so he could track Bamak later. While riding in the taxi, Bamak noticed many missed calls from his friends. He also saw several messages sent by Su-ho. At that moment, Suho was with young Ben, forcing him to reveal Bamak's location as punishment. But young Ben kept insisting that he knew nothing. Suddenly, Suho received a call from Bamak. Bamak told him to meet at a gym. At the same time, Bamak also contacted Wong and told him to prepare for a fight against Suho. When Suho arrived at the gym, he saw Young-chan, Taihan, Bamak, and the others already waiting inside. In reality, Suho had come there to apologize to Bamak. He told Bamak that if he was angry, he should direct that anger toward him and not innocent people. However, Bamak refused to accept the apology. Hearing that response made Suho angry as well. Just then, Wong stepped forward and challenged Suho to fight inside the boxing ring. Suho looked surprised after seeing Wong because they had already fought once before in a competition. Back then, Suho had won. Still, Suho accepted the challenge. Before starting, he asked for 1 minute to warm up. But instead of stretching, Suho used that minute to beat up everyone else inside the room. Only after finishing that did the real fight begin. Wong recorded the match because he wanted revenge for his past defeat. At first, both fighters looked evenly matched since they were both highly skilled. However, Wong knew Suho's leg was still injured from the motorcycle accident. Because of that, he kept targeting Suho's left side to weaken him further. Even while suffering from pain, Suho still managed to knock Wong down with one powerful hit. But suddenly, Taihan cheated by grabbing Suho's leg from outside the ring. That distraction caused Suho to lose focus. Wong immediately took advantage of the moment and landed a brutal kick to Suho's head. Suho collapsed onto the ground. Right after that, Bamak and the others rushed in and started beating Suho mercilessly. Young-chan and Taihan, who had hated Suho for a long time, also joined the attack without holding back. Soon after, Bamak's father's assistant and lawyer arrived at the gym to take Bamak home. They forced him to leave the scene. Then panic suddenly spread through the room after everyone realized Suho had stopped breathing. Terrified, most of them immediately ran away. Only Young-chan and Taihan stayed behind after Bamak's lawyer stopped them. The lawyer ordered them to testify to the police later and promised to handle everything in a way that protected Bamak. Meanwhile, Bamak completely broke down in tears. He deeply regretted everything and believed Suho had died because of him. After that night, people began searching for Suho because nobody had heard from him. Cyan and Young-e both suspected that Suho may have attacked Young-chan's group in revenge. But no matter where they searched, they could not find him. Eventually, Bamak's lawyer stepped in and took control of the entire situation. He wanted to keep the incident hidden from the public. Because of that, he instructed Young-chan, Taihan, and Wong to follow a fake story he created. According to the false story, they had all simply been exercising together when Suho suddenly collapsed while resting. To erase all evidence, deleted the video Wong had recorded. Meanwhile, Bamak received another harsh punishment from his father. Filled with anger and shame, his father threatened to kill him after he returned from studying in the Philippines. But Bamak no longer cared about his father's threats. The only thing worrying him was Suho's condition. The next day, school exams continued as normal. For the first time since the incident, Cyan returned to school early in the morning. However, he looked anxious and distracted because he still had no information about Suho. Suho did not come to school that day. Because of that, Cyan could not focus properly during his exam. He answered many questions incorrectly. But for the first time in his life, Cyan did not care about his scores. At that moment, Suho mattered far more to him than any test. After finishing the exam, Cyan suddenly received news from Young-e. Young-e told Cyan that Suho was in the hospital and fighting for his life after falling into a coma. It turned out that Suho had not died that night. Because of the panic, Young-chan's group wrongly believed he was dead. In reality, Suho had only fallen unconscious and was rushed to the hospital for treatment. The moment Cyan heard the news, he immediately left school and hurried to the hospital. When he arrived, he only saw Suho's grandmother sitting inside the room. She looked heartbroken while sitting beside Suho, who still had not opened his eyes. Seeing his best friend lying weakly on the hospital bed made Cyan burst into tears. Meanwhile, Bamak locked himself inside his room. His lawyer later came to tell him that Suho was still alive but remained in a coma. There was still a chance he could survive. However, the lawyer warned Bamak to keep everything secret. He explained that if the truth became public, Suho could end up in danger. The lawyer also said the incident had to stay hidden because it could destroy Bamak's father's political reputation. The next morning, Cyan went to Jiang High School, the school where young Ben had transferred. He was searching for young Ben. The moment young Ben entered his classroom, Cyan suddenly rushed in and attacked him. Filled with rage, Cyan slammed young Ben's head against the desk over and over again. Then he stabbed young Ben's shoulder with a pen while demanding answers about that night. Young Ben claimed he knew nothing because he was not present during the attack. He explained that his fingers had been broken during his fight with Suho that night, so he could not join the others. Before Cyan left, young Ben admitted he only knew small details after watching a video sent by Wong. After watching the video himself, Cyan finally learned the full truth about what happened that night. Even though young Ben was not directly involved, Cyan still beat him up before leaving. Afterward, Cyan went searching for Wong. Once he found him, Cyan attacked him using an iron rod. But because Wong was a trained fighter, he easily predicted Cyan's attacks and defended himself. Soon, the two became locked in a brutal fight. Wong mocked Cyan and looked down on him for not having real fighting skills. Still, Cyan refused to give up. During the fight, he remembered the lesson Suho had taught him before. At the same time, he realized that real fighting skills could not be mastered overnight. Again and again, Wong overpowered him. But Cyan slowly turned the fight around by using his intelligence. He began using Wong's own strength against him. At one point, Cyan dodged an attack, causing Wong to accidentally punch a heavy barbell instead. The impact injured Wong's hand. Cyan quickly took advantage of the opportunity and slammed the barbell onto Wong's foot. Wong then tried defending his actions from that night and attempted to justify himself. But Cyan refused to forgive him. Instead, he struck Wong's foot once again and broke it. Meanwhile, Bamak and his father headed to the school to officially announce his transfer overseas. But before they could continue, Young-E suddenly arrived and stopped them. She demanded that Bamak take responsibility for what happened to Suho. However, instead of apologizing, Bamak coldly blamed her for everything. He said his group of friends used to be happy together before she entered their lives. According to Bamak, once Young-E became close to them, he slowly began feeling left out and isolated. Meanwhile, teachers at Bamak's school waited respectfully for him and his father because they knew his father was an important person. At the same time, Bamak was taking an exam while his father secretly questioned the teachers about the injured student. The teachers explained that a student had collapsed during exercise at the gym and ended up seriously injured. Hearing this made Bamak's father feel relieved because nobody knew his son was responsible. Meanwhile, students across the school continued taking their exams normally. Suddenly, Cyan entered the classroom carrying a fire extinguisher. His school uniform was covered in blood, shocking both the teacher and his classmates. Without hesitation, Cyan suddenly attacked Taihan using the fire extinguisher. Bamak watched everything without showing any fear. Yung-chan quickly tried to protect Taihan, but Cyan suddenly smashed the fire extinguisher against Yung-chan's head and knocked him unconscious. After that, Cyan continued attacking Taihan without stopping. Once he finished taking revenge on both of them, he slowly walked toward Bamak. Bamak felt broken inside and deeply regretted all the pain he had caused. He told Cyan to hit him if it would ease his anger, but Cyan could not force himself to attack Bamak. Deep inside, he still saw Bamak as his friend. Instead of fighting, both of them broke down crying. In the end, Cyan left Bamak lying on the floor without throwing a single punch at him. After what happened, the entire school became terrified of Cyan. Some teachers attempted to stop him. However, Cyan released his anger by smashing the classroom windows. He was furious that the school had hidden the incident and ignored Suho, who was still lying unconscious in the hospital. After leaving the school, Cyan immediately went to visit Suho. While sitting beside the hospital bed, Cyan imagined Suho finally waking up. In his imagination, Suho told him that he had overreacted. Then both of them apologized to each other for failing to protect one another. Eventually, Bamak was transferred to a school in the Philippines. Meanwhile, Suho still remained trapped in a coma. At the same time, Young-E decided to distance herself from both Cyan and Suho. She believed her presence had destroyed the friendship between the three boys. At first, Cyan was supposed to be sent to juvenile detention because of his violent actions. However, after Bamak's father watched the video showing how Suho fell into a coma, he changed his mind and refused to file charges. Instead, he used his influence to make sure no school in Seoul would accept Cyan anymore. Still, one school eventually agreed to take him in. That school was Jeong High School. Cyan was later transferred there while accompanied by both his mother and father. During the trip, his father told him that the past events were not completely his fault. Jeong High School was known as a low-ranked school filled with troublemakers. The school was so careless that students were even allowed to have tattoos openly. After arriving, Cyan introduced himself to the class and quietly took his seat. Soon, several students approached him. One boy, who appeared to be the leader of a gang, tried provoking Cyan. But Cyan ignored him completely. The student became annoyed and angry because of that reaction. However, the moment Cyan stared at him coldly, the boy immediately felt intimidated and backed away. And that is where Season 1 comes to an end. The drama will continue with an upcoming Season 2. So subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell icon for future updates, and don't forget to like the video. Your support will help the video reach even more people. Thanks for watching.